What's good, YouTube? This is the SJ Report. Hope everybody having a blessed day. This came across my table, and being I'm from this neck of the woods, I like to check on my land from time to time. I'm a native, so I gotta check in sometime. So let's get right into it.
And we are taking a look at the president now. You see the Homeland Secretary, Kristi Noem, is with him today, along with the governor of Florida, Ron Desantis. And as they take this tour through what we're calling, because they do, Alligator Alcatraz, now we're getting to see why they call it that. There is effectively, and I haven't heard anybody else use this wording, maybe they have, but it's like a moat of alligators that encircles this place, as many sides as it has. So, what's interesting about this is it's exactly transparently what the president has been talking about via the governor of Florida.
So basically it seems like they have a penitentiary or facility like boot camp or something. And with alligators around in the water, you basically can't go nowhere. And if you do, you better, you're going to be alligator food.
And if we get a microphone that we can listen to, we will try. Let's try here. I think we may be just too far away from the microphone. Now, no one can find that better than the president of the United States that we have in Donald Trump, because he sees where the cameras are. He may jump in front of them and will immediately go back. Meanwhile, I want to talk with somebody who's really dealt with a lot of this issue of illegal aliens, the worst of the worst, being allowed in under the Biden administration. Congressman Chip Roy of the great state and border state of Texas. Congressman, your thoughts as the president is there looking at this facility where they can house up to 5,000 of the worst of the worst?
Harris, great to be on. And yeah, obviously we've experienced this firsthand in Texas. The difficulty of local law enforcement and states.
Congressman, let's listen real quickly to the president. I apologize. Let's watch.
Sure.
So I would say he should call the governor, Kristi, and I'm sure you'd give him because his state is a disaster, and he doesn't do this.
Well, they have the original Alcatraz, so you guys could approve him being able to set one of these up over there. I'm sure the secretary would be happy to do that and provide. My sense is he's probably not going to bite on that, but I don't know that they'd be able to come in at cost because they tried to do this high-speed rail. They spent like $150 billion, no tracks. We've got a privately funded rail in Florida from Miami to Orlando. It costs the taxpayer zero, and it's very successful. So it's just a much different approach between states.
We're not going to let him get anywhere near Alcatraz. It'll cost 100 times more than they thought. Now, he ought to come here and study this because he can learn a lot.
Yes? The first person checking into the room, sir?
Tomorrow.
Hopefully tomorrow, within the next 24 hours.
They have the doctors, they have all the professionals.
There's going to be a security sweep because there have been civilians here, so they will sweep this multiple times to make sure there's nothing can be used as weapons or any contraband. And then once that's cleared, then they'll do. So it's really up to Secretary. I know has got people in the queue, and so they'll be ready to receive.
I think our viewers at home should note that this is air-conditioned facility. Yes, so if any of the news claims are keeping them out in hot, humid South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 62 degrees here.
To be honest. Hey, Biden wanted me in here, okay? He wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here, that son of a bitch.
Little do y'all may know, Florida is very historical and has a lot of rich land. Little do y'all people know, the roots run deep in Florida.
What's your expectation what this will do for the speed and force of deportations?
A lot of things, and they're both telling me that these people come in here, they want to go home. And they want to go home, so we immediately...
Not saying my roots, but the Florida as a whole. Because, being born and raised in Miami, Florida, a lot of historians, a lot of public figures, went all through. There's a lot of rich land.
Send them home, where it's appropriate. Now, if somebody's a real killer, we don't send them anywhere. We put them in a maximum security. Look, what we inherited from this guy, this incompetent man, and his administration, which wasn't incompetent, it was radical left, lunatic, communist, whatever you want to say. I know most of them. What we inherited should never, ever be forgotten. What they've made us do. This is all because of an open border policy where 25 million people flowed in. From all over the world, from prisons, from all over the world they flowed in. For no reason whatsoever. We had, when I left, we had a very powerful border. We had no problem. He opened it up. Day one, we just opened the border, and people couldn't believe it.
That's right.
They were standing there. What are they doing? They said, go in. That's it. You look at the first day tapes. They opened it up and they said, go in. And that's where all of this began. But this is an amazing thing that they've done here. Really
But listen, people don't have to come here. If they self-deport and go home, they can come back legally. We will let them come back legally.
And there is a lot of self-deportation.
Yes. But if you wait and we bring you to this facility, you don't ever get to come back to America. You don't get the chance to come back and be an American again and work here. So
They weren't with us when the President and the Secretary of Cabinet and we went through.
So look, she just told y'all ain't got to get caught up in it. Y'all can just go, basically saying if y'all get in here, ain't no coming back. Dang.
The intake. So right when you do the intake, they have the information about voluntary departure. They have the ability. Obviously, you guys are funding that because it's a lot cheaper to do it that way. So even if they get brought to the front doorstep here, they still have an opportunity to just go back voluntarily, and then this way they're not.
Let's say they get in here like, hey, I want to stay here. I want to go back.
we can put them on a plane that day and take them home. We'll buy their plane ticket, go home, and then they get the chance to come back legally. If they wait and say we're not going to do that,
they can come back legally after a period.
Yeah.
President, you've talked recently about the idea of finding some way to get.
Yeah, because they know I'll be coming through.
Farm workforce and service sector workforce, and I think you've discussed somehow a program of people leaving on a sponsorship and coming right back. Can you give us a little more detail about that?
Because honestly, logically, they ain't saying nothing wrong. Like, they give y'all opportunity to go back and get right instead of having to force y'all out. Some of y'all might have to take that offer.
That and why, in the view of some hardliners, it's not amnesty.
Take care of our farmers and hotel workers and various other people, and we're working on it right now. And Ron's going to be involved, and you're involved already. So we have a lot of cases where ICE will go into a farm, and these are guys working there for 10, 15 years, no problem. The farmers know them. We're going to put, it's called farmer responsibility or owner responsibility, where they're going to be largely responsible for these people. And they know these people. They've worked on the farms for 15 years, and all of a sudden so I have a great, Ron does, Christie does, we have a great feeling for the farmer and for others in the same position. And we're going to give them responsibility for people. And we're going to have a system of signing them up so they don't have to go. They can be here legally. They can pay taxes and everything. They're not getting citizenship, but they get other things. And the farmers need them to do the work. Without those people, you're not going to be able to run your farm.
Mr. President, you and the governor tangled pretty hard in the 2024 election, yet you stand here now. Yet you stand here now as partners on this effort. How would you describe the relationship, and what future does Governor Desantis have?
I think it's a 10. Maybe 9-9, because there might be a couple of little wounds. So maybe it's not 9. I think we have a 10. We get along great.
Well, the thing about it is, I endorsed him immediately in January 2024. I raised one of his PACs millions and millions of dollars, and obviously we saved him a lot of money in Florida because Florida was a deep red state.
Basically, I ain't gotta explain. This is, and it's crazy because some of these countries they send their people back to don't even want their people back. So it's can't. Hey. Well, this is the SJ Report. Hope everybody had a blessed day. See y'all next time.